Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everyone. And good morning to the world out there. Now, let's give praises to God. Let's give Him praise. Today's topic is very, very, very short. As you will see, the new word. What that word is? Sincerity. What does it mean? Well, I'll teach during this lesson. As it's very important that we all, brothers and sisters, learn about something new. So we'll be reading in the book of Acts, chapter 2, verses 46. Just one simple, short verse. Next. We have three different questions. What is sincerity? Number three, it says right there, what was the problem during that time? And how was that problem solved? Or what was the solution? So, we will be reading believers share a common purpose. And every day they spend much of their time together in the temple area. Many Christians were around that area. They also ate together in their home. They were happy to share their food and ate with joyful hearts. Very interesting idea that they were talking about the Jewish and giving their temple to the Christians there. But understand that they were surrounded. So I will explain more deeply later, okay? Now, what is sincerity? You see, there's two answers right there possible. A and B. A means truthful. Means being very truthful. B is without deceit or hypocrisy. None. Meaning so long time ago that remember for the Jewish time had chosen by God. It's very interesting how during the first group of the Jewish itself, how they changed and have Christians because God had chosen the people to become His first chosen people. So, the Jewish men to stay inside of the temple area, but the Christian outside of the temple area. So, I'm going to explain first about what this sign means. So we will have a sign for that, sincerity, and the sign is serious. That's important. Serious. Serious. Talk, going back and forth, back and forth. Straighten up. Without two-faced. And without fooling each other. Or deceiving each other. That's my sign right there. Sincerity. So that we, brothers and sisters, be ourselves and be yourself. Same for the people in the world. People in the world, they have a camera watching me. Many in the world will, I'm just curious. Oh, true, hopefully and pray that they will learn something from our lesson today. The lesson is from God, not from me, not my word. The word is from my God. And the world will know about learning something. So, what is the problem during that time? The problem is to misunderstand a common misconception about the first Christians. Basically, who would truly remember, as I said before, God chose the Jewish people first. Then, those who believe in Him. You know, those who will become Christians. But some did convert from the Jewish area to become Christians. We call them, let me see, some first call them Christian Jews, meaning that they were Christian. And as a common misconception about the first Christians who were Jews was that they rejected the Jewish religion. But these believers saw Jesus' message and resurrection as the fulfillment of everything they knew and believed from the Old Testament. All of the Jews believed the Old Testament. Meanings in the Bible have 39 books for the Old Testament. Many Jews believe that, and they follow that. With the New Testament, 27 books, many Jews rejected it. But the Jewish, those who read and study and know that Jesus is coming, they knew the Old Testament. Jesus led to the New Testament. So, those who at first accepted the Old Testament, but not many Jewish people did not accept the New Testament. As the Jewish believer at first did not separate from the rest of the Jewish community. You know, they have families, they have, different communities around that area. As we remember, the Jewish has different tribes, about 12 tribes. So, some were out there, some had conversion, so some believed in Jesus, so that they can become Christian as well. D, they still went to the temple and synagogues. That is where many Jews get together, like the temple. They have a white tent where they're all lined up together for worship and instruction from Scripture. But their belief in Jesus created great friction with the Jews who didn't believe that Jesus was the Messiah. Many said they don't believe themselves. Oh, that can't be possible. He's the Messiah? Can't be. But a small number of Jews did believe that Jesus was the Messiah. So what was the solution? How did they solve it? Thus, believing Jews were forced to meet in private homes for communion prayer. They can't take it in the temple. They can't So many Christians took the communion in a private home, so they would have that. And once they take like our Lord's Supper, but they call that communion, prayer, and teaching about Christ, where it's at home. Very interesting that first Christian Jewish group, the letter B, by the end of the first century, many of these Jewish believers were very, very early, different time of the Jewish, said, by the end of the first century, many of the Jewish believers were excommunicated from their synagogue, where many Jewish lines up, and those Jewish people in the temple noted that they were very few Christians, small Christians. They wanted to convert. Why? Because they wanted to be, a Christian, and they said, Christian Jewish, you can't come in. Get out, get out, get out. So what happened? Many of those who were out started their own worship in their own home. They have private homes from here to here to here to here to here to here to here. Very interesting, the separating of the temple workers. Only Jewish Christians, they feel belong together. Why? Because of the culture and the family and the language. But do they believe in the religion? No. Only the small number of Jews who were Christians, they read the Old Testament, they say, oh, Jesus is coming. So they want to share a message. So the Jewish said, no, bye. You cannot come in, temple. Sorry. Very interesting. Okay. So, to conclude today, like I said, this is really a short lesson about this. It says, number one, what does today's lesson tell us? That we, Christians, need to be honest and truthful to ourselves. Number two, we Christians need to separate ourselves from any false teacher or other doctrine or any other different religions. That today many churches are out there. Right now, here in Tulsa, there's so many out there. And sometimes they say, we do not need to worry. We need to stay together. Number three, therefore, we Christians must stay together as one body of Christ, one faith, one baptism. Focus. We need to focus, believe, and obey, and follow Christ from the Bible. Suppose, if you go out to different church, Muslim, Catholic, Jewish, Jehovah's Witness, more, you would recognize there's a difference between that. So we need to follow God's way, which Jesus Christ Himself made the Bible for us, for Jesus Christ. And that is all.